Welcome to Scotch Plains, New Jersey. This is Verizon Fios, Channel 22, and Comcast Cable, Channel 34. Scotch Plains Television. Your town, your TV.
Scotch Plains Television presents a meeting of the Township Council. And now, from the municipal building, the Scotch Plains Mayor and Council.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Scotch Plains Township workshop meeting, council workshop meeting, Wednesday, November 12th, 2014. Ms. Lucina, please read the call to order.
I wish to make the following announcement to show compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, known as Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of New Jersey, 1975. Notice of this meeting was given by adopting an annual schedule of the location, time, and date, sending copies to the Scotch Plains Fanwood Times, the Star Ledger, and the Courier News, posting in the municipal building, and filing a copy with the township clerk within 7 days following the annual organizational meeting of this body. If everyone would please rise for the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Lucina, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gillanella, Mr. Jones,
Here.
Mr. Marcus,
Here.
Mr. Vastine,
Here.
Mayor Glover.
Here. Thank you, Ms. Lucina. The next item up on our agenda is public comment. Anybody wishing to address this council may do so at this time. Please come forward, state your name and address. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Elmer P. Terry. I live at 1421 Rawway Road, Scotch Plains, New Jersey. I wish to speak to a month or so ago, I mentioned the passing of one of our former mayors, Ray Schnitzer, who was our mayor in 1969, and also I'd like to reiterate part of his life. He was born in Jersey City, went in the Navy, out of high school, became a gunner, an aerial photographer on a Navy dive bomber, and their job was to reconnaissance pictures over the islands before the invasions. He was the winner of the Navy Cross, and he came out of the service, went to Panzer College on the GI Bill, and came to Scotch Plains in 1953 as a gym teacher and coach. He served in Scotch Plains for some 40 years, various capacities, as a basketball coach, track coach, director of athletics, assistant principal, and any other job, I guess, that they didn't have anybody to do. Anyhow, Ray's contemporaries as a basketball coach were Raleigh Massimino, who won a NCAA championship at Villanova, and Hubie Brown, who coached several major universities and it was in the pros. And Ray chose not to go any further. He wanted to be a local guy. He wanted to teach kids and stay in Scotch Plains, which he did for 40 years. And the reason I bring this up, and I want to say that I have no part of this, except that I've known Ray for 50 years, and I thought he was deserving of it. The Raymond L. Schnitzer Scholarship Fund. We are honoring our father, this is his family, celebrating his commitment to education, sports, and dedications to students by creating a scholarship fund in his name. The Raymond L. Schnitzer Scholarship will be awarded a deserving student at Scotch Plains Family High School, where Mr. Schnitzer taught, coached, and served as vice principal and athletic director for more than 40 years. And you can get information on this from RaymondSchnitzer.com or from Raymond L. Schnitzer Scholarship Fund, P.O. Box 1536, Provincetown, Mass. 02657. And as I say, Ray was a Scotch Plains person all his life. After he moved from Jersey City, I guess he never wanted to go back, and he never wanted to go anywhere else, so I thought he was deserving of this honor. Thank you.
Mr. Terry, thank you for sharing that. Mr. Terry, may I ask if you could provide that information to the clerk so we can have it distributed amongst the council further, that we can put it up on our website. Godspeed, Mr. Snitzer. I would hope that we have his picture on our wall of fame.
Yes, it is, right here.
Right here. He's the first one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Terry, for sharing the history of such a fine gentleman.
Frank Fester, Ramapo Way.
Please, Mr. Fester, I believe.
I was just going to say on Scotch Plains Day, Mr. Terry, on Scotch Plains Day, we had the memorial service in the morning,
Yeah.
and Mr. Snitzer was a part of that. He was honored as part of that, and we'll have a paver in the memorial walk once that starts to get constructed. Mhm.
Thank you. Sir?
Sorry. Frank Fester, Ramapo Way.
Thank you, Councilman. Please.
I believe it was last meeting I asked about the dirty streets that we heard during the campaign. There was obviously a problem with the streets. I'd like to ask you, Mayor, you've been on council for 6 years?
Mr. Fester,
When was the last time your street was swept?
When was the last time my street was swept? I'm not
Yes.
sure I know what you're referring to.
We have street sweepers, but we bought a brand new one. They
Yes.
go around sweeping the streets. Do you know when the last time your street?
I can
Actually
assure you,
saw a
I
street
don't
sweeper.
track it, but I can tell you that they have in fact come down my street and
Okay.
swept it.
So that's once in 6 years?
No, I didn't say that,
Okay.
Mr. Fester. I assumed that. I believe every year, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen them on the street.
Well, according to,
I may be wrong,
it's supposed to
but-
be once a month.
Well, if it's once a month, I'm
Okay.
not familiar with them sweeping my street once a month, sir. You may want to direct,
I've got all the information that I needed from the manager. He was very helpful, believe me.
the point of your question then, sir?
The
is-
point of my question is, you have voted for at least 6 budgets. And I understand that the Department of Public Works has absolutely no idea how much it costs to sweep the streets in Scotch Plains. Do you think that we could do better?
I always think we can do better. It's a
Thank you
constant
very
theme
much.
I have, Mr. Fester, and thank you for bringing that to our attention. Mr. Johns, I'm not aware of that, the streets is to be swept. Are you familiar with that? Okay. We'll look into it, I gather.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Over a month ago, I questioned the bill list for the Magic Touch replacing a water faucet at the ladies' room at the South Side Firehouse for $1,200. I requested the canceled check. The canceled check was for $1,800, not $1,200. When I questioned why there was an additional $600, I was told that the extra $600 was to rebuild a meter at Ponderosa Park. Why was a county park bill combined into one check? I do not believe this is transparency. How many other dollars are hidden or combined under one bill? I leave you with that thought. Number 2, Upper Wisconsin got 3 feet of snow, Minnesota got 3 feet of snow, and we're having the polar vortex. Shady Rest remains with no good roof. Please pursue that. Number 3, I check the emails or the postings as best I can. I am not a computer person, but I do think I have some intelligence. October 20th, 27th, and November 2nd, all the streets were listed for leaf pickup. Never Westfield Road. Now, on November 8th, Westfield Road, for the first time, is listed for leaf pickup. Westfield Road has the high school, Brunner School, and a block away, Evergreen School and St. Bart's. Westfield Road floods. You check with your police how many times they've had to put up barriers near Sun Valley Way or at the high school. I think this is a safety issue, and I do not understand it. Why we would wait 3 leaf pickups and then include Westfield Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins, for coming forward. Can't answer you. Maybe Mr. Giles might have some answer, or we'll get one shortly on this bill regarding this faucet.
I'm gonna comment on the bill. I mean, there's nothing hidden or not transparent. The bill list contained 2 separate items, the faucet and then the item that she spoke about. You know, when a vendor might do 3 or 4 different jobs, they're put under 3 different lines, they get 1 check. I mean, it makes financial sense, and it's efficient.
That makes sense.
There's nothing hidden there, and that's just, in my opinion, that's inappropriate to suggest. As far as the leaf pickup, off the top of my head, you know, I don't know, you know, that schedule that they've been using. I do read it as she does, and you know, it's not dissimilar to what was done in prior years. But that actually is being done tomorrow, from what I hear.
Okay. The second item that Ms. Perkins had referred to was the Shady Rest, and I had asked that be put on the schedule as a discussion, but it hasn't made it. So since the question was asked, I'll just ask you to update us that, and maybe we can get a sense of a schedule. As to, I understand the bid just went out on Friday.
Is out, and just, you know, to give the folks an idea of what a bid like this looks like. You know, it goes under legal review, and it's, you know, like I said, it's not like using yellow pages and calling a roofer. It's much more complicated in the public sector. So this is public information if anybody needs to look at it.
But it is, no, that's not my question. I know the bid went out on Friday, but I'm just asking, do we have a sense of a schedule? I remember originally we were hoping to have the roof replaced October, November, maybe at the latest. Now we'll be into December clearly before we even get the bids back. Just a guesstimate of when do you think?
Well, the bid will be due Tuesday, December 9th. We're going to have a voluntary pre-bid meeting, probably the Thursday prior to that. And, you know, once the bids come in and Jeff's office reviews them and they're all in good working order, we can either do it at the subsequent council meeting or just call a quick morning meeting to make an approval if we need to.
Okay, that would be good, because it certainly, and clearly they can replace the roof in December. Okay, just so everyone's current on that. As for Westfield Road and the leaves, I know that was a contentious matter with respect to the parking around Brunner School, with respect to branch pickup, leaf pickup, snow pickup, and I know that we wanted to be more vigilant when it came to plowing those streets, getting debris off those streets like leaves. So I would say that, you know, we were all part of that discussion, and we felt that parking is a problem over there, you know, not to make this the only issue of why we're doing it. Flooding is certainly a major issue. But for public safety in general, I think we all committed to having our DPW maybe make more passes at that of those major streets around the schools, and certainly some street like Westfield Road. So I just share with you that, and I think we all here were committed to wanting to see that occur. Okay, so thank you, Ms. Perkins, for coming up. Yes, sir?
Jim Checkhill, 2 Apple Court. I live on the corner of Apple Court, which all the flood water does run down to my property. We do try to keep our leaves away from the drain, although that anything can move them, including even a small rainfall. Actually, since they redid the street, it actually floods quicker than it used to. Based on myself and the neighbor next to me, the water can come as close as our house.
Really?
I think that the idea of maybe getting around the schools a little bit better. My street, Apple Court, is also a throughway since we opened up the side access to the high school. I already voiced that one other time. I want to commend all the people that ran in the election. Sorry for the people that lost and the people that won. Congratulations. The Shady Rest issue, I mentioned a tarp. Shouldn't we put a tarp on it until we do it, if we're not going to do it now for snow, rain, whatever's coming? This is the more inclement weather season. I suggested that last time. I think it was in March or April. But maybe we should put a tarp on the roof before we do the roof, if we're not going to do it sometime soon, because that would have helped last year and it would help this year too. But the whole leaf pickup probably should be a little more. I know, Mary, that I think you said 8 was supposedly to pick up. There weren't really a lot of leaves on Westfield Road, They were there, I know they picked up the leaves in front of my house, but Westfield Road, it seems like this weekend, a lot of people put leaves on Westfield Road, and that would probably be a good suggestion, just passing by there, by the schools, all the schools in the town, a little bit more often.
No,
Just
I
for
think
safety.
we all agreed to that, Mr.
Okay,
Checchio.
thank you.
Okay, I mean, message heard, message delivered, I mean, it'd probably be a good thing to do. In fact, it would be a good thing to do. Seeing no one else coming forward, let us move on to manager discussion items, if we may.
Sure. Number one is best practices. We did this about this time last year, and it was a 30-second exercise. The state requires us to discuss this in public. You've had it since we sent the agenda out. Nearly all of these things were done, probably all of them were done that predate me, all of the yeses, and there's really nothing new here. The only thing I would say to it is, as I did say last year, was, a lot of them are good ideas, but, I question, the wisdom of trying to come up with, one overriding process for 560 some odd very different and diverse municipalities. It's just, not the same. But nonetheless, we always comply. We do a good job. And that, is really just a credit to the, people here now and the people here that were before me. Do you have any questions?
When does that go back to the folks?
This was actually mailed in already.
It's been mailed back?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we get any feedback from them on that?
No, unless they find something they don't like, and since this started a few years ago, they never have.
Okay, so good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I wouldn't want to have a bad report card. Mr. Gimes, anything else you want to share with us, or are we okay?
That's all I got.
We're good? Okay, so next item up is council discussion items. We have here Sycamore Avenue Block Association fence ordinance. Not sure who put that up for discussion.
I don't see anybody here. They were aware, because I did speak to them and gave them the date, but to give you an update, basically, the woman came at the meeting a while back and there was some confusion. They're neighbors of a organization, of a development that, got summoned for a dilapidated fence. And what they were asking the council to consider was a fence ordinance, what is commonly known to as a good side, bad side fence ordinance, where if you put up a fence, the good side has to be facing your neighbor and the bad side has to be facing you. I mean, that's not something, that would really only, affect a wooden stockade type fence, because a chain link fence, you can't tell the difference. And a boarded fence probably looks the same, on both sides. But that's what they were asking you to consider and discuss. Apparently, no one from the organization is here tonight. And, I did speak to the construction official about it, the building official, and, his recommendation is to keep it as is, which is that we don't have an ordinance. His view, and I think a common view, is when, somebody spends a significant amount of money putting up a fence, they should have the right to choose which side faces which side.
Okay, and I know that's been a contentious issue for years, and I know it is in my prior town. So I can only relate to is a picket fence, where, some people may argue which side is the good side. I would say the good side out is the one where you see a running a board without post, okay? And the post being on the person's property who paid for and put up the fence. So is that what these folks were looking for?
That's what they were looking for, and, I think with respect to their specific situation, it's, even if the council decided last month they were gonna do something, it would be irrelevant, because the company, or the organization that got fined for their fence is in the process of fixing it, and they've already pulled a permit, so they wouldn't be bound, they'd be done by the time an ordinance was passed.
No, I understand, but the recommendation is to not have an ordinance. People can put up the fence whichever way they want.
That's the recommendation of the building official, and I agree with that recommendation.
Okay, all right. Does anybody have any comments on that? Okay, seeing no comments. I don't have anything else on the agenda for, this council workshop. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Signify by saying aye. Thank you, we're doing. Can we take a couple of minutes break, and can we see if we can cool this room off? I mean, if anyone is watching us, they'll notice that Deputy Mayor and I are sitting here with our jackets. We have some tougher people, I guess, to the right and the left of us who can tolerate the heat better. think. It must be 90 degrees in here.